Chapter 6, Section 5, Traits and Probability. Key concept, the inheritance of traits follows the rules of probability. So we're going to talk a little bit of math today. Punnett squares illustrate genetic crosses. So it's the probability of what would happen if we cross one parent with another. The Punnett square is a grid system for predicting all possible genotypes resulting from a cross. The axes represent the possible gametes of each parent, and the boxes show the possible genotypes of the offspring. So here we can see parent 1 alleles, parent 2 alleles, and it's where they intersect. So big A, big A. So that's a possibility. This is a possibility. This one's a possibility, and that's a possibility. So you're in luck if you're not strong in math. We're just talking 1 in 4 chances here. The Punnett square yields the ratio of possible genotypes and phenotypes. So our genotypes here, so what the genes say, we have homozygous dominant, heterozygous, heterozygous, homozygous recessive. So if we were looking back at the phenotype, this one would express whatever gene this would be. So let's say it's a tall plant. So this one would be tall. This one would be tall as well, because remember it only takes one big letter in order to make the phenotype expressed. So this one's tall, this one's tall, this one's tall. This one would be short though. So phenotypically speaking, you have a 3-to-1 ratio. Genotypically speaking, you have a 1-to-2-to-1 ratio. And you can refer to those Punnett square notes that I have as supplemental on the YouTube channel for more explanation on this and to help you fill out the rest of your notes. A monohybrid cross involves one trait. A monohybrid cross examines the inheritance of only one specific trait at a time. A homozygous dominant to a homozygous recessive combination, all offspring would be heterozygous, and they would all express dominant traits. So we go back to our pea plants, and you can see there's all of our purple flowers. Heterozygous to heterozygous will give us that 1-to-2-to-1 ratio. Homozygous dominant to homozygous recessive. And then a 3-to-1 dominant recessive phenotype, so physically speaking. A heterozygous to homozygous recessive, or a test cross, is a 1-to-1 heterozygous homozygous recessive and a 1-to-1 dominant to recessive result. Test crosses are used between an organism with an unknown genotype and an organism with a recessive phenotype. We cross it with that unknown so that we can see, are there any recessive traits lurking with that unknown parent. A dihybrid cross gets a little more complicated. This involves 2 traits. Mendel's dihybrid crosses with heterozygous plants yielded a 9-to-3 to 3-to-1 phenotypic ratio. The dihybrid crosses led to his second law, the law of independent assortment. That law just states that allele pairs separate independently of each other during meiosis. So just because you have blonde hair doesn't mean you have to have blue eyes. Here we can see he followed the color of the seed, the pea, and then the shape of the seed or the pea. So we had yellow round, yellow wrinkled, green round, green wrinkled. So this one's obviously, because they're such small numbers, that's the recessive trait. Heredity patterns can be calculated with probability. Probability is just the likelihood that something's going to happen. Probability predicts an average number of occurrences, not an exact number of occurrences. So we calculate probability just like in math, the number of ways a specific event can occur divided by the number of total possible outcomes. Probability applies to random events such as meiosis and fertilization. So in this example, the coins are equally likely to land heads up or tails up. So it's a 1 in 2 probability. When we combine them, we calculate that by taking 1/2 times 1/2, and that's going to give us a 1 in 4 chance of both coins landing heads up. Now, what are the chances of rolling a 4 on both of those dice in the corner? Well, there's 6 sides to a dice, so there's only one side that has 4 dots on it. That means it's a 1 in 6 chance of rolling a 4 on one dice. But since you have 2 dice, it would be 1/6 times 1/6. So the probability of rolling a 4 on both dice would be 1 in 36 rolls. Now, is that every time you do this, it's for sure going to happen? No, but the likelihood is there.